All right, to get started, we're just going to ask you kind of what your position is, what you do,
Okay.
and what, in the course of a day, what is it like working for Virginia Foxx?
Sure.
And your name too.
And your name and start today.
Okay. Well, my name is Tabitha Bryant. I am the staff assistant in the office. I've been with the Congresswoman since January 2007. I actually started out as an intern in the office. I came up in the spring of '07 and became a full-time staff member in August of that same year. My position is multifaceted. First and foremost, I'm the intern coordinator for the office, so any students, college-age students who are interested in coming and getting a feel for what it's like to work in a congressional office, to get an insider's perspective of how legislation is drafted, formed, how it goes through the committee process, how the Congresswoman is able to influence the legislative process, and just to see how a bill becomes a law as sort of a good experience for anybody who's interested in political science or the legal field or anything like that. I'm also the coordinator for the PAGE program, which is sort of a similar experience, but it's designed for juniors in high school. Students come up either for a semester or 3 weeks in the summertime. They do a lot of errands, they attend school if they're here during the school year, and they also get a very first-hand experience in learning how the legislative process functions. I also am the tour coordinator for the office, so we are able to assist constituents in arranging tours of the Capitol building, of the White House, of the Library of Congress, and the Pentagon. So anytime a constituent contacts our office, either through a phone call, a letter, an email, or through the request form on our website, I process those requests, make the requests with the respective visitor's office if it's not from us, and contact those constituents when I have received replies. So that's kind of generally what my job description is.
You've got to get a lot of those,
Oh yes, yes, yes. I've noticed this year, I'm not sure if it's because their presidential elections and the campaigns were more televised, but I've seen an increase this year, especially in the springtime, but it seems to have carried through to the summer, an increased number of visitors coming through. I've seen more requests this year, places filled up faster, that kind of thing. So a lot of folks are interested in coming to Washington, which is great because there's all kinds of free museums, monuments, and different federal buildings where people can come and learn about their government and their history. So.
Go ahead.
So you would say, since this last election, Virginia Foxx hears a lot more from her constituents, a lot more people trying to get involved, I guess maybe because of the change in politics in Washington?
Perhaps so, because of the change. I deal less with folks who are contacting us regarding their political opinions about different bills and legislation, but as far as folks who are just visiting the city for information's sake, wanting to come and take a vacation to Washington, D.C. to kind of get a first-hand experience about what they saw on television, what folks were campaigning to be a part of, and the election. We've gotten lots of more folks who are coming up who want to meet the Congresswoman in person, who want to shake her hand or take her picture or give her their opinions in person. We've gotten a lot more of those requests this year than we have in times past. And then just folks who want to bring their children up to have the experience to get to come to Washington, to see Congress in action in the House galleries, and to get a better education about the history through the different museums that we have here. So, and then I can't speak, like I said, to what kind of mail volume we get as far as legislative opinions, but I think it's probably safe to say we're seeing at least as much contact, if not more, in that regard as well. So,
had you ever worked with any other politicians? Was this the first politician you'd ever worked with?
This was the first politician I'd ever worked with. I'd never really even been involved in volunteering on anyone's campaign for either side. And my university, I graduated from Liberty University in 2007. We had just recently established a program where students could apply to the program, and once we got accepted, they would assist us in making applications to different organizations and political offices, helping us with housing, finding transportation, that kind of thing. So I took advantage of that opportunity since I had never had a chance to travel personally to the city very much before that time, to come and work for the Congresswoman as an intern, get an insider's perspective of Washington, and I liked the work that I was doing. The office liked some of the things that I was doing as well, some of the more organizational things that I was helping the staff with, and so they decided to hire me on as a permanent part of the staff. And I've been here as a staff assistant since August of 2007. I very much enjoy the work that I do. There's no other place where you can get the kind of perspective on your government and what happens that affects you, all the different laws that affect each individual citizen. there's no better place to get that perspective than working in a congressional office, whether it's as a page, as a high school student, as an intern, as a college student, or as a permanent staff. There's just no better way to get an understanding of that. So I'm very grateful to her for the opportunity to get to do this.
I know from our experience talking to our constituents, I mean, everyone really seems to feel like Virginia Foxx puts forth the extra effort. If they contact her, she contacts them back. If they ask her questions, she sends them the information. Is that how you find Virginia Foxx? A hard worker, good work ethic, really representing her constituents?
It is. I've never seen nor heard another member of Congress put in as many long hours as a Congresswoman does. We had folks this afternoon who stopped by and wanted to meet her, and every time especially when they contact us in person, if they're here visiting from the district, she makes every opportunity possible to meet those constituents in person. If they want to take a picture with her, she's happy to do that. Especially when it comes to things like Boy Scout troops or schools that come up during their class field trips, that kind of thing. She's always looking to help students get a better understanding of what goes on here, help them get educated, whether their parents are supporters of hers or not. She feels it's very important for the youth, no matter what their background, to get as much exposure to the things that go on here as possible. So she's constantly taking groups into the House Gallery so they can see the Congress in action, meeting with them so they get an idea of what her perspectives are on whatever issue it is that's brought them to the city. Always, she tries to take every opportunity she can to do that, and that's something that I've experienced from her. She reads all the district newspapers that are put out by the different various news organizations to try to get an idea about what's going on, because she has to be here in Washington through the week. So that's one of the ways that she tries to keep herself familiar with the views and opinions of her constituents and what's going on in their lives as well. So,
and that's also, when she's not here and she's back in North Carolina, she's everywhere, you know.
Is.
I mean, she really makes herself available. So, you have any questions you'd like to ask, Brian?
Is there anything like in particular you or the rest of the staff might be doing, like say during a recess or when she's gone or something like that? Just typical kind of stuff.
Sure. The August recess is typically when staff tries to take the opportunity to take a little bit of personal time for a family vacation or something like that. So usually this is when the staff will be out of the office because there's less demand for our time advising her on what's going on. Staff will also take trips to the district to get a chance to meet with some of the organizations, businesses, nonprofits that are working in the issues that they advise a congresswoman about.
Right.
So they get a better perspective of what the needs of our specific district are as far as legislatively goes. Some of them will even travel overseas to get a greater understanding of what's going on in the world regarding different particular issues, whether it be military-based, as far as the wars that the U.S. is engaged in, or whether it's a business perspective or anything like that. So the staff takes the time to travel both personally and for the office, and it's a time for us to try to catch up on some of those more mundane tasks, organizing our files, gathering information that we need to prepare ourselves for the rest of the legislative year. So,
what exactly is the legislative year?
Well, it varies from year to year. Whether or not there's an election will determine how long Congress is in session. I believe this calendar year they're projected to finish sometime in late November or early December. But in an election year, it could be as early as September that they'll finish up to go home and campaign. So.
All right.
Thank you very much. It's very informative.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks for the job you do helping her out.